See, you caught me out. You caught me out. Welcome to Live 605. I'm getting down with the groove. I don't know what it is. If you're new here, ladies and gentlemen, type in new so we know that you're new. Welcome, 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 one and all. We're streaming live through the Stray Whisker page, as well as through YouTube. Yes, we've decided to go to YouTube some time ago. Of course, I don't know why I keep saying that. YouTube on the Shave the Man channel, as well as the Stray Whisker TV channel. So there we are. Hey, David, how are you? Welcome to what promises to be a really clean episode. Sometimes we make them dirty, sometimes we make them clean. You know, whatever floats your boat. It's an absolute pleasure and a delight to have people DM me after the fact, after the shows, and to show their gratitude. I really, really, really appreciate it. I love that you do that. Stephen, g'day Con, nice to see you tonight as well, yes. We got Billy Goat, Yasu Patrida. Really? Yasu Patrida. Hello, sir. Pranav, nice to see you. Love from India. And our thoughts are with all our Indian friends. Nice to see you on the live. It's always a pleasure to see people from all over the world. John Hepburn, hello. How are you all? It's, as I say, it's an absolute honour. Tonight's beverage, you'll be pleased to hear, is just water. And there's a reason for that, and I will announce it as soon as I've had a swig of this water. A lot of you have been talking about coffee and what is this thing with coffee and you're having it late at night, you know. Shouldn't you stop drinking coffee after a certain time? You're right. I should stop drinking coffee after a certain time, and I've decided to drink it during certain times. Hello, Stathi. Good evening to you, kind sir, as well. I've decided that we're going to run a little experiment. Actually, it won't be an experiment. No, it won't be an experiment. It's something that's going to be set in concrete. If you happen to be in the Blue Mountains from Tuesday through to Friday, going forward now, this is going forward from now on, I am going to offer to buy you a coffee, okay? No expense to you, no strings attached, no affiliate links, no, wait, there's more, and here are the steak knives, nothing like that. If you want to come in and have a chat, I've decided that we're going to make use of the space here. You may or may not know that there is a coffee roaster a couple of units up, and they have been kind enough to participate in this. So we're going to launch a thing called Coffee with Con. And so if there are any gluttons for punishment out there and you want to have a coffee with Con, it's on Con. You don't have to spend a cent on the coffee, just as long as you're up here. I mean, obviously, if you're traveling kilometres to get here, especially our friend from India, I would imagine leaving India to come here for a coffee might be a bit challenging. Just look at our website tomorrow. I'm going to put it up. What I'll do is I'll put it up as a product, a free product. See, some things in life are free. And what you'll do is you'll, if you're around, of course, you will block out a time, and we can go and sit in this wonderful environment that's been specially prepared, and we will have a bit of a chat for about half an hour. So I'm going to do it in half an hour since. I'll start at 9 and finish at 10:30, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be a one-on-one, which is great. But if this sort of gains some momentum, we'll have it for up to 3 people sitting in the same room, having a coffee, talking about all sorts of things. Grooming, we can talk some business if you like, whatever you like, I'm there for you. And it is no cost to you. So if you're in the Blue Mountains from Tuesdays to Fridays, the Blue Mountains of New South Wales, then I would be more than happy. I'd be delighted, in fact, if you could just go to the website. I'll put a link to it at some stage, and it'll just say Coffee with Con, and we can block out a time. It'll just be me, you, and the coffee cup, and we'll just have a nice time and talk stuff, shoot the breeze. I've noticed a lot of people that have reached out want to talk about all sorts of things, and I think that's great. It's great for you, but it's also great for me. Okay, so it's a good thing. The other thing is, depending on where they are, their life journey or whatever, some people need to just hang out and have a chat. So I'm willing to do that for you. And then, of course, I've got to come to work, but that's okay. I'm quite happy to do it. So between 9 and 10:30, Tuesday to Friday, starting from tomorrow, I'm going to put up this little thing. You can block out a time, come and have coffee on me. Have to pay for the coffee. It's on me. And made by the beautiful people at Cassiopeia Roastery here at the headquarters. So we're actually going to be having coffee where they roast it. This is serious business. It's very serious. I'll tell you what else is serious business. Cleaning and sanitizing your razors. Now, if this is not part of your regime, or if it is, put a comment below. Let us know. Is this something that you do frequently? I know with the current situation in the world, sanitation is at the forefront of most people's minds. I think we've all been utterly and completely and utterly sanitized. My hands now have officially consumed more alcohol than I have. Sanitizing, keeping your hands clean, all that sort of stuff because of this scenario, because of the pandemic. But there's also been some questions about sanitizing razors. And I'm going to talk to a couple of scenarios here. A razor that belongs to you and you purchased it brand new. And then we'll talk about vintage razors that you may have purchased from eBay or any other marketplace, or maybe even a buy, sell and trade. What do you do when you get a razor for the very first time? You obviously wash it, but there are some things that I want to share with you. This is what I do, and these things seem to work very well for me. Is sanitizing and cleaning your razor something that you do? I know a lot of you clean your razor, but do you sanitize it, and is there a need to do so? This is an interesting point because a lot of people sometimes break out, have rashes and all the rest of it. And this may, in fact, be because the razor itself isn't sanitized, isn't clean. You need to keep your razor clean. And I don't mean rinse clean, where you just rinse it out under a tap and then whack it up on the stand or put it where you store it. I'm talking about deliberate sanitation, where you actually sanitize it as if you were going to hand it to somebody else. I think it's good practice. It's become part of people's consciousness a little more now. So it's not some great leap, that oh God, I'm going to sanitize that. What is it, a surgical instrument? Well, in many ways it is a surgical instrument because if you think about shaving itself, it's actually quite a hostile practice to the skin. You're taking off layers of skin. So why wouldn't you sanitize an instrument that helps to make you look marvelous through the day? I know that it's something that a lot of people have asked. So we're going to address a couple of things. The first thing is new razor. Do you need to sanitize a new razor as soon as you get it? How do you sanitize a razor? And I'll show you very quickly. I realize that there are people that are watching this from overseas, so there may be some products that you would be able to find in your part of the world because they're fairly common. And these things will most definitely improve the cleanliness, the hygiene, the sanitation of your products. It's very important. Keep them clean. I have heard, incidentally, and I heard it a couple of times through the week, and I thought, that's it, I'm going to do something about this. I've heard of partners that are in a living arrangement that share the same razor. Husband and wife sharing the same razor. I would advise against that. Look, I know sharing is caring, but caring is also caring. And please, I didn't believe I have to even say this, please try not to share your partner's razor. And if you must, then sanitize it, please, and change out the blade, for goodness sake. Please do that. And I know that there are some people that don't. Actually, they've confessed this to me. I must have confess written on my forehead or something, but they've done that. Hello, who's on the live? Yes. Hi, Nigel. How are you going? Nice to see you on the live. Nigel has joined us. My wife said we can get together and talk about... Yes, we can definitely do that if you're around. I know that you're in sunny Queensland, Stephen, or mostly sunny Queensland. Then that'll be great. Who else have we got? I think we've got Gerasimo. Kalispera, Kostadine. Kalimera, Gerasime. So there you go. I'm sure it's morning there. And we will definitely get on with this and cut to the chase and talk about this, because I don't want to waste too much of your time. Right. So what are the things that... so firstly, why should you sanitize your razor? Well, obviously, again, if we were to magnify a razor at even 1,000 times, you would find materials on that razor which would not only prevent you from shaving ever again in your life, but it would just make you want to curl up and never get out of bed. Okay, there are microbes everywhere, so sanitation is very, 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 very important. It's particularly important if you are selling something. If you're on selling it, there is a responsibility to the seller. So if I jump on to buy, sell and trade and I sell one of my razors, it is my responsibility to do the sanitation, but it is also your responsibility as the person who purchases the razor to make sure you go through the process of sanitation. Okay, I said I was going to talk products. There is one product in particular, or one ingredient in particular, that is your friend, and that is isopropyl alcohol. Here in Australia, it's called isocol. That's the stuff there, right? And what I'll do is I'll actually, let's show you another angle, shall we? So this is the product here. It's an antiseptic. This particular product contains 64% isopropyl alcohol. There are other ingredients in here as well. This can be used for sting bites and all that, but it's basically what they would call a rubbing alcohol, okay? So that's what you should use. You'd use something, I better push it out here somewhere. There we are. Now you can see it anyway. There's no point. There's a little alligator or crocodile there. There it is. So what I do is I put it in a small container, and this particular container contains has a screw-on lid. Okay, I don't just like using something like a Tupperware one where you can just seal it. I actually like the one where there's a lid, so as if I'm traveling, I know that I'm not going to make a mess and it's not going to spill. Right. So what do we do? Well, let's just say you can see that this is like a little. I can smell that alcohol coming off there now. It's like a little water bath. You just take your razor, and I'm just using any old razor here. It's not any old razor, it's an Edwin Jagger razor, and simply dunk it in there, right? That's it. That's all you need to do. Just put it in there a couple of times, and instantly this particular razor has been sanitized. Now, something else is happening here as well, okay? Because this has got alcohol, I don't know if you can see that. That is almost dry. Can you? I don't know if you can see that. It's not wet anymore. It's dry. It's gone completely dry. So it went from being wet to now being dry. Okay. So this is a very good way of drying out your razor, particularly in the winter months. If you leave a blade in there, putting it in ethanol or in isopropyl alcohol in this case will make sure that it evaporates very quickly. And then that is, I mean, look at that too. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's been sanitized and cleaned very, very quickly. Okay, that's it. That's what I do to sanitize. Okay, that's what we do to sanitize. All right. Now, perhaps we could come back up here and you can see my face. I know you probably want to look at the sanitation. So that's the first thing. That is enough, using at least 64% isopropyl alcohol to give this, to dry the razor, to make sure that it's dry, but also, in other words, if because a lot of people say, what if can I leave the blade in there? You can. Isopropyl alcohol will make sure that it evaporates away. And they use this a lot in electronics as well. If you drop your phone in water, dropping it in some isopropyl alcohol and allowing it to evaporate off, because of the alcohol content, will mean that you might be able to save your electronics as well, or your phone. So it's very, very good stuff, right? Now, Matt, I use Barbicide when deep cleaning, otherwise Dawn antibacterial liquid and toothbrush for regular cleaning. Absolutely. Now, let me just say a couple of things about Barbicide, because I knew this would come up. Barbicide is a fungicide, viricide, and a bactericide. So it's very, 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 very strong. It must be diluted. You cannot just use Barbicide straight out of the container. There are warnings all over the place on that, and it's critical that you do. I believe it's about a 1 in 50 dilution. So it requires some preparation. My only concern with barbicide, for me, because I'm not actually on town water, I'm on tank water, is I don't want to put it down into the septic, because what it does is over time, this might kill microbes and things. But yes, and if you do tip it out, because it's discard. See, if I put this down the sink, it's not really going to, or discard, you get rid of it in a responsible way. It's not really going to create any problems. But barbicide is the goods, and this is why barbers use it. It's very, very effective. The other thing, right, Rich, I just rinse it off in hot water as I use Mitchell's wool fat, and the blades last forever. I only change them because I think I should, not because they are blunt. Interesting. Okay. Yes, the Mitchell's wool fat certainly will provide a layer of lanolin on there, which would definitely help you in that regard. Okay. Hello, Justin. Nice of you to join us from Scotland. Beautiful Scotland. That's a place that I'd love to obviously dilute. Yes, absolutely. It's really, you're asking for trouble if you don't dilute the product, but it is a very good product. Now, vintage. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. Let's go to this little cam again. This is a vintage razor. I'll get this out of the way, and you can see that it's probably seen better days. You might even be able to see that it's kind of might even be green deliberately. Oh, look, here it is. Yuck. This you would definitely hit with some barbicide and some isopropyl alcohol. There are other things you can do, and we'll talk about this. Of course, a toothbrush always helps. Always get in there with a nice soft toothbrush and clean, and make sure that you discard and get rid of any sort of soap scum that develops over time. But vintage razors are definitely require special attention. Speaking of special attention, there is another product that I like, and that is these ultrasonic cleaners. Now, this one happens to be from Aldi. I will say that. You're looking at about, I believe they're about $38, $39, about $40, right? Fill it with lukewarm water. You do not need to put hot water into this. And I run it at about 420 seconds. There's a setting here, an electronic setting, which allows you to just press a little button and let it do its thing. But this is designed to obviously bring the razor up in terms of its shine, but also dislodge any particles that are there. Sanitation and sterilisation, of course, that does not occur with one of these ultrasonic cleaners. They are very good, and thankfully the price of these is coming down quite a bit. So they're actually a very good investment to make. So next time your local supermarket or whatever large box store or store has these, then you can definitely pick one up. The other thing is it's good for cleaning your rings as well. I've got different, you can put your jewelry and all that kind of stuff on there, which is fantastic. Pranav, yes, sir. For sanitizing razor before use, I put inside hot water bath, and once a week I use isopropyl. Yes. Look, Pranav and I have not, we've not collaborated in any way, but there is a spray that I'll show you. It's this stuff here. It's a 3-in-1 shaver cleaner. I don't know if you can see that. It's called Shaver Cleaner. It's great for straight razors, scissors, nail clippers, you name it. Barbers love this stuff. It's great because you just spray. You don't need to immerse anything in a bath. This stuff will knock anything out. Sell it in store. I'm not comfortable putting these in the mail and sending them out because it's a dangerous good. So I don't know what we can do with that. Maybe if you come over for a coffee, you can have a look at it and pick one up. But yes, I'm not entirely comfortable shipping them in the mail, but they are very, very good products. Okay. Please accept my apology for being late. I was shaving. Yes, well, I will accept your apology. What are you doing shaving at this? Oh, well, you could be overseas, of course. So isopropyl alcohol is very good. Barbicide's excellent, but be very careful with barbicide. My issues with barbicide, for me, is getting rid of the product, discarding it, but it is exceptional. It's very, very effective. Also, it's a bit fiddly though. You've got to try and do, get the dilutions right and all the rest of it. But once it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So isopropyl alcohol and using an ultrasonic will definitely work. Now, putting vintage razors in an ultrasonic cleaner, I'm less comfortable with. What I would do is, if I really wanted to get these cleaned properly, is again use the toothbrush and a very mild Castile soap, nothing that has any harsh sort of chemicals in it, and use a brush. If I wanted to bring this up and make it look super duper, and we've all tried it, I'm sure, tried to get this to shine and do amazing things, when it sits on the shelf. I would advise against it. I would go and get it professionally plated, and there are some wonderful businesses around there. One that comes to mind is Razor Emporium. Matt Pisarcik does a wonderful job, pulls the thing apart, shows you, takes you through the whole journey. They're professionals, but they're in the United States, in Arizona, and I'm sure there are people closer to where you live who may be able to assist you in that regard. I wouldn't mess around too much with it unless, of course, you have experience, because you could end up damaging a really beautiful razor, and that's the thing. So with buy, sell and trade, definitely hit it with barbicide and then ongoing with the isopropyl alcohol. The isopropyl alcohol has two purposes. Of course, it allows you to sanitize, clean instantly. And the other thing that it allows you to do is to dry everything within the razor. If you've got a razor blade sitting in there, this may not be relevant to you if you're living in warmer climates or in the desert or anything like that. The blade will dry very quickly. It's a non-issue. But if you're living in cooler environments, such as myself, then if you're going to leave, you might want to just dunk it in there once and you're done. I mean, this thing is so dry. It's dry and now it's kind of very shiny. I like it. Anyway, that's it. So if you're having troubles finding isopropyl alcohol, it also goes under the name of rubbing alcohol, but just make sure, check the ingredients. Make sure that you've got at least 64% isopropyl alcohol in there, and that will help. Beyond that, things might get a bit abrasive. Okay, now I mentioned earlier that you can put electronics in it. Electronics uses a higher percentage of isopropyl alcohol per litre. I think they use, it's maybe about up around 80. And you certainly don't want to use the absolute pure stuff, because you'll be in all sorts of trouble. I'm in trouble now too. That's why I have to have some water. If you've got any questions, leave them below. I can see, please accept your apology. Yes, Barney, we've already done that. That's very good. The kids went home after work, kid-free, woohoo. Okay, very good. I've got a late note and jalapeno poppers for those who like it spicy. Good on you, Tony. That's great. Matt said, Razor Emporium, thumbs up. Matt Pisarcik is a gentleman, lovely guy. Yes, he really is lovely in the flesh, as well as what you see on YouTube, whatever. He's one of the gentlemen of wet shaving and in the hobby. Chemist also sells it stronger doses behind the counter. It's expensive, however. Yes, that's right. This is about $8 or $9 Australian for 345 mils. They've got little ones too, but they're in a squirter bottle. I think they're hand sanitizers. Don't worry about those. The isopropyl alcohol in that larger bottle makes great economic sense. And just have it there when you're ready. They also add moisturizers to the rubbing alcohol, which leaves a foggy finish on nickel. Absolutely. That's why I said just check the ingredients. So when you say you're getting isopropyl alcohol, you're not getting the pure stuff. Just check the ingredients, because this stuff also is great for. I also recommend you use this as an aftershave. I don't know. Has anyone used isocol as an aftershave? Please let me know. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be using it as an aftershave. I've used it on stings, like on mosquito bites and things like that. Just kind of numbs it and all the rest of it. Yep, you have. Okay, Matt. Right. Yeah, well, okay. He's done it, and he's lived to tell the tale. So it's really great to see quite a few people on YouTube as well. Hello, and thanks for joining us. I really appreciate that. What have been your experiences with sanitize? Do you sanitize your razors or merely clean them? A lot of people I know just washing them out, giving them a good rinse, and they're done. Do I religiously use isopropyl alcohol on my razors? No, I don't. It's not something, was agreeing with you. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, look, I don't do it. I don't use them religiously. If you've got a partner that wants to use your razor, I know, as I said, you might be madly, deeply in love. Please try and not use other people's razors, and also be mindful that when you're purchasing on a BST group, that you're good. Peter, hello, Peter. Welcome to the live again. I only use dish soap. Yep, dish soap works. It'll definitely put a shine on your razors. But in this instance, we're also talking about sanitizing the razor itself, making sure that you hit it with some isopropyl alcohol, or if you can access it and don't mind fiddling around with it, Barbicide, which is an excellent product. Barbicide is, it's the goods. It's the goods. And some people don't like mucking around with that. Pranav, please, sir, make a video how to prepare aftershave lotion at home. I guess that would be a great video to shoot. Also, I use aftershave consisting of isopropyl alcohol. Yeah. That will definitely give you the, but it will also kill any sort of bacteria or germs that are available there. As for making one, maybe I should, cooking with con, not coffee with con, I don't know, maybe. Okay, good question. I have used isopropyl alcohol on the Broman. What I do is so the good thing with this particular one, which you probably should invest in, Stathi, is that it has a little restrictor. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just see. There's a little restrictor right there, right? Okay. So what I do is just hit it very, very quickly on there, or just put some in a paper towel and just rub it, and that's it. You can definitely use it. But as for leaving it on there, I mean, I know it evaporates fairly quickly. Plastics and isopropyl, nah. Why would you want to know that anyway, Stathi? Having feelings of Broman? Anyway. So, made it to the live. It's so good to see you. Thank you. We're probably running out of time too, actually. We'll try and keep it under 30 minutes. As I said, because I don't want people sitting through bum-numbing 1.5 hour lives. It's not fair for you. It's not fair for anyone. But anyway, speaking of fairness, if you are anywhere in the Blue Mountains, Tuesdays to Fridays, I'm putting out a thing, Coffee with Con. We'll sit in a very comfortable environment. The coffee's on me. There are no strings attached, other than you may have to speak with me. That's it. I don't want to be put in the doghouse. You know, that won't be safe for a hound like me. Slightly more information than we needed to know there, Stathi. How to prepare aftershave lotion? Yes, we'll try and do that. Pranav. Thank you. All right. Well, I think the time has come for me to say goodbye. Some cleaning products dry out plastics and all, but yes, they do. So this is a very, very important point. You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful what you use and the containers you use. You can't just whack things in plastic. Over time also there's discoloration, the plastic starts to break down, and all of a sudden here you are thinking you're sanitizing and you're introducing all sorts of other problems to the equation. What else we got? All these comments are coming through. Paul was late as he had to keep his customers happy. Oh, I know who wrote that. Hello, Paul and co. Right, time to go. Thank you for watching, and we'll definitely see you in the next live. Bye-bye.